Hello, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm back. um, Taking a little bit of a break. The break is over. Um, yeah, geez, it's been a little while since I streamed, so I'm gonna be a little bit out of practice. Um,
Chai_08 just subscribed.
oh, Shaya, thank you so much for the resub. Straight out of the gate, thank you so much. 58 months as well. Jeez, that is a long ass time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Welcome in. Saturday painting, what I'm favoring is this. This is Jinx, you got the wrong day of the week. Indie. I thought it was a Sunday because I've been hopelessly out of sync all week. But yeah, this is Jinxie can't tell what day of the week it is. And I was impatient because I really wanted to get back to streaming. So I figured I'd do this now and then, yeah, deal with it. Um, yeah, I also start my new job on Monday. So I wanted to make sure I got a decent amount of sleep on Sunday and didn't have to wake up too early or anything like that. This is a gift. It is a gift. Funny you should say that, Indy. This model, which is another reason why I'm streaming now. This model is a gift from Chody, wonderful, wonderful human being who has been a part of this community for a long time. And most of you probably know him. He was kind enough to give this to me. Yeah, as you've all probably gathered, it's been a bit of a rough few weeks. Bit chaotic, not in a fun way, unfortunately. Sorry about that. I just nudged my volume. Yes, that Chody chair. Okay, yeah. Is that Chody? Yes. Okay. Sorry, bear with me. I'm trying to. Okay, knocking off the spoilers. Alert. Hey, Hoops, welcome in. Good to see you. I hope you're well. Yeah, the past couple of weeks have been kind of rough. My health kind of took a dive, and work went from. So to kind of make it simple, I went from having a job to being made to getting a new job, to my old job then being made redundant, to being put on indefinite leave until my new job started in the space of about a week. So that happened. My new job starts on Monday. So I'm fine. I'm not. Technically, I have lost my job, but I've not lost my job, if that makes sense. And funnily enough, Indy, that is what I've been doing with my free time while I've been recovering from burnout. Um, People probably picked up on it, but this year has not been a good year. I've spent the majority of this year burned out, which kind of hit my limit with it. Sorry, this is going to be a bit of a just chatting stream before I get started on painting. I hit my limit with my burnout about sort of towards the end of September, just before I got the new job. Yeah, my job was taking its toll. My old job was taking its toll. I was struggling with streaming. I was struggling with my health, and just a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes. And it led to me being extremely ill, which is why I've not been around. I'm happy to say I'm a lot better. I feel like myself again, which I haven't felt like for a very, very long time. And part of that is because I've been writing again, and because I'm gonna say it, Baldur's Gate 3. It's unlocked bits of my brain that I've been neglecting severely. Um, yeah, and I've got a new job, which means I will never have to deal with customers again. Um, thank you, Jaya. But yeah, I didn't talk about it because it's hard to talk about. If I'm honest, it's hard for me to admit that, hey, sometimes I'm not doing so good. Especially when it comes to burnout. Dev team job at Larian. No, no. It's not at Larian. As much as I would love to say that, you know, it's not. It's not at Larian. I'm not going to say which company it's for because that would be very identifying. But my new job basically involves working with game designers, and they will be submitting stuff, assets for games basically, and I will be able to tell them, yep, that fits with the universe, or no, that doesn't. And I can't say which universe, I can't say which game designs or anything like that because there's going to be a lot of NDAs in my new job. But that's a general gist of what I'll be doing, is looking at stuff and going, yep, that fits the law, or no, that doesn't. Which I didn't know was a job until I started this application process, and that's 6 months ago that I started. Sorry, 7 months now. So, whew. It's been a lot. And again, couldn't really talk about it because how could I get my hopes up for something like that and then not get it? You see in game credits, so I won't be appearing in game credits or anything like that, unfortunately. But, well, I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I not. I don't know. I doubt it though. I'm not a game dev. My job is not game development. It's more brand based, and that's the closest I'm going to get to properly saying what it is. Either way, it's a really cool job. It's kind of like game dev adjacent. It's a job I didn't know existed. Training a star is fun. No, Andy. Andy, have you been looking at my AO3 account? No. I don't think my writing's that good. Yeah, my writing's just for fun. Maybe you have. I see. All I'm gonna say is there may have been bourbon involved in what I most recently posted. But yeah, I feel incredibly lucky. Incredibly lucky to have the job that I do now. And I haven't even started yet. So we'll see how that goes over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, just kind of basically keeping myself accountable a little bit and kind of going, hey, yeah, I've not been good. And I've been kind of remiss in not saying, because obviously I try my best to cultivate the kind of space where people can talk about the problems openly, and I've not done that. So I'm sorry for not doing that. Yeah, it's hard for me to admit that sometimes it was hard for me to admit that things were going wrong for so long. But I'm happy to say that they're not anymore. Laughter is infectious and uplifting. Oh, thank you, Indy. Well, hopefully you'll be hearing a lot more of it now. I said a lot of the problems that I've been facing this year, and for longer, if I'm being honest, I've gone. Once I get started properly in this new job, I won't be dealing with the emotional burnout that old job was causing me. I can already feel myself getting better. And I've not even started yet. Like, I've taken 2 weeks. Well, I've been put on leave for 2 weeks. While my old job gets effectively taken out of existence. Which was a bit kind of funny, kind of mind-blowing as well, that, you know, we lost one member of our 3-member team to another department. And then a couple of weeks later, I got my new job. So the department went from 3 people to one person in a space for about 6 weeks. So the company turned around and went, actually, we're getting rid of the entire department now. Which is a bit... I've never been in that situation before, which is a little bit crazy. But yeah, there's nobody good enough to fill your shoes. That's true, Andy. That's something that someone said to me a long time ago when I was dealing with, how do I put this? Depression that was threatening my existence, I think, is the most delicate way I can put it. And it stuck with me. And it's something I share with people who are maybe struggling. But thank you for reminding me. But anyway, the long and short of it is I'm back. I should be streaming again more regularly now. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit loose because it's the end of the year, obviously the holidays, all that sort of thing. Schedules might be a little bit floaty, a little bit wibbly wobbly, while I get used to the new job. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that at the beginning of next year, so basically in the new year, I'm probably going to do a little bit of a channel revamp. There's going to be a couple of things that I want to add just to kind of reflect the new direction a bit. So yeah, that's going to be fun. A couple of upgrades. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm back. I think I got caught up. Yeah, the only other thing I wanted to say is if you are reading my fanfics, I make no apologies for what I write. I am not going to apologize, but I will be highly embarrassed. Yeah, now I've got all the talking bit out of the way. I'm going to get started on this, because I've been really excited since it arrived. The mean thoughts will be well and truly banished to the Netherrealm. Interesting. Was that about the fanfics or about the upgrades, Chaya? No, I've decided that I'm going to stop letting myself get embarrassed over things that I'm having fun with. Not quite gotten to that stage yet, but I'm gonna aim for that in the future. But yeah, I really want to kind of make some upgrades to the channel. Are you stealing my stories with your new job? My new job will not threaten the stories, I promise. My writing is completely separate from my new job. And I promise I will not steal any of your stories. My writing is purely for
Thessian
my own
just
entertainment.
subscribed.
Hey, that's... Holy shit, 75 months. Bloody hell, Thas. Stop wasting your money. Also, hi. Welcome in. I realized I got the day wrong last night and just kind of decided to commit. So we're here now. You're just in time. I got all of the boring talky bits out the way, and I'm just about to start actually putting paint on the model. Oh my goodness. Oh no. How many ideas are gonna get used? I don't know. Anonymous, thank you so much for 5 gifted subs. Is that who I think it is? Thank you so much for 5 subs to Prox, Howley, Mrs. Nana, Magic, and Matt. Thank you so much. Talking sucks, yeah. No one's here to hear me talk. Everyone's here to see me paint. Stream a paint, play games, stream a paint thing. That's all we're here for, right? But yeah, one of the things I've been doing in my forced holiday, we'll call it that. Basically, my body schedule maintenance for me. So during my scheduled maintenance, I've been watching a lot of streamers. I've discovered a lot of really cool new communities, and I got a ton of ideas. I got a ton of ideas. Some of which I just won't be able to implement as much as I would like to. But some of them I am already working on. So I hope you're all ready for that. We haven't, Hallie. That's on me. I've not been available. As I've been saying, I've not really been available to anyone over the past couple of weeks. So when we can both find the time, we'll do it. Okay. Here to hear about D&D. Yes, D&D is still planned for the new year. That's one of the things that I'm working on. I have the books now. So I should be able to actually start running some stuff soon. I have a module. So it's kind of, I think it's either a short, like 3-session type thing, or it's just a one shot, which looks really, really cool. I also I'm also a backer for the Cursed Captains of Cthulhu system, which looks bloody amazing. Which I was about to say, Hooves, will probably be more suited to your Siren. So once I actually get myself familiar with that, if you want to play Siren, I can absolutely say that Cursed Captains of Cthulhu is a good system for Siren. Like, she would absolutely fit in perfectly with that. But I 100% want to run Cursed Captains of Cthulhu at some point because it looks so much fun. And I'm definitely more suited to DMing in that sort of scenario. D&D I can do either. But Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, I'm definitely more of a I want to steer this ship kind of person. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. What else would I was looking, I've got, basically those are going to be the two systems I focus on for now, I think. So D&D 5th Ed and Cursed Captains. I am writing a campaign. That's not going to be ready. my homebrew campaign is not going to be ready for months. Just because it kind of got away from me a little bit and is kind of evolved into a far bigger story than I intended. So in the meantime, I'm getting my hands on some modules, some pre-written stuff. I'm just going to run those. And it kind of makes it easier for me because I'm not worried about, is the story I wrote actually entertaining? And I think it'll also be easier for people who aren't familiar with D&D to kind of actually be playing something that's definitely designed. Definitely thought out and not got massive gaping plot holes in it that I completely missed because, I'm a human being and a relatively novice writer. So yeah, as a general plan, that's where we're set with D&D. It will probably be weekends. I'm currently leaning towards maybe Saturdays for that. But again, I have to see how the new job settles out with in terms of my schedule. So it'll be Fridays, Saturdays, that kind of a time of week. And they won't be super long sessions, so it's not going to be like a 12-hour extravaganza. It will be like a regular old, 3, 4, maybe 5 hour if it's a particularly intense session. I was fast, and then your D&D can be Sundays. That's fair. That's the thing. I will be flexible to the group, but at the end of the day, I can't run a session if I'm busy. And yeah, it will be mainly one-shots. I'm not going to be doing a session every week kind of thing. I'm not going to constantly be GMing. At least not initially, because, it's a lot of work. GMing is a lot of work. It's a lot of prep. It's a lot of mental power. I'm not always going to be well enough to do that. I'm just going to be really honest here. So, yeah. We'll see. But it's definitely something I want to do in the new year. And now I have a gorgeous dice tray to terrify my players with. So when you all hear the dice rattling down my mimic, you know something's going on. This is my first ever dice tray as well, so I am hugely excited about that. Hugely, hugely excited. No, sorry, I shouldn't say dice tray. Dice tower. First ever dice tower. Which I know is probably a shocker to some people, considering how much of a dice gremlin I am. But, yeah. Never owned a dice tower until this turned up. Second edit fortnightly. That's fair enough. Like I said, to start off with, I'm just going to be running, one-shots or short campaigns, like three session max kind of thing. I want to try and strike a balance between combat and RP. I want enough time, there might be recurring NPCs or something like that. I don't know yet. I haven't really thought everything through. I'm currently still at the remember how to play, remember how to GM, and what the bloody hell am I actually going to be running kind of level. But I'm really excited about Curse Captains. It looks like so much fun. I have to thank Jay Britton and Amelia Tyler for making me aware of the system. Because, holy hells, I'm keen to get my hand on that book. And keen to get some stuff running in that. It just looks like fun. And honestly, I'm just keen to be playing again. Ranger and Barbarian have +6 to attacks? What level are they in the... Oh, that's the other thing. If you're, a beginner, if you've never played D&D before, I'm more than happy to take on beginners as much as experienced players. My first ever group that I GM'd had 2 people who played before and 4 people who had never played. They never even rolled more than a d6 before. Amelia is amazing. She really is. I kind of tumbled into Jay's community a little bit. I've been watching his Baldur's Gate playthroughs, and obviously being Amelia's partner, Amelia pops up quite a lot, and she's phenomenal. She's such a force of nature. It's fantastic. Her brand of humor she cracks me up, and so does Jay. And it's nice, this is going to sound silly, but it's nice to find streamers in the UK that I actually feel like I'm content to watch. Yeah, it's nice to not have to watch someone on a completely different time zone to me, to actually find communities that I gel with. Damn, Indy. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't gotten as far as character gen or anything like that, Indy. I'd be interested to see how you managed to get +6 to attack at level 3. But, yeah, it will depend on the modules that I'm running and all that sort of thing. But there's no rush. So ideally, I want to get started in January. But that's going to depend on a lot of stuff. I don't know when my new job's going to be busy. It might be January, it might be October, it might be never. Okay. But yeah, content-wise is going to be a lot more D&D based stuff. So a lot more stuff like what I'm painting now. Still a bit of Warhammer here and there, but it'll be more one-off models. Just because that's what I enjoy painting. I enjoy painting the stuff that's more of a display piece. So yeah, that's also a small change coming up. But I still have some big projects that have been sat unfinished for too long. And at some point, I would really like to play D&D in person with some people. And I'm thinking that I need to go to PAX and book a D&D table with some folks. Obviously, that's going to be a much longer term project because, you know, going to PAX is not exactly something you can do any old day. But, yeah. PAX 25, yeah. PAX 25, I'm thinking maybe an actual in-person D&D session with actual real dice and models and all the rest of it because, yeah. Doesn't that sound like fun? I miss playing actual physical pen and paper. You get your character sheet out, you get your mini, you get the dice that you went out and matched to your character because of reasons. I miss all of that, as well as actually playing the game. There is something kind of magical about it. So you like your second ed? I was on an in-person one. Oops. I don't know why, I just kind of assumed it was online. In a wild moment today? Ooh, tell me all about it. I will forever... Well, if you can, obviously. I will forever and always want to hear about D&D exploits. Found our control before it. Told us to leave by sword point. Started walking away. It is just... Riding cleric through a fireball into the tower's motor holes. Damn. Nat 20... Oh, you always love the Nat 21 shot. You can't beat that feeling. Damn. I kind of like those moments, though. They are magical. When you start kind of following the narrative and then someone goes, hang on a minute. And your entire party decides to upend it. Alright. Quick hydration break. It's the other thing. I haven't really done much talking over the past few weeks. So if my voice sounds a little bit fragile, I guess? Is that the word? I'm going with fragile. It's because I've not really used my voice much. So please bear with me if I'm clearing my throat a lot. It is a muscle I've not used. And like a fool, I didn't do any sort of vocal warm-up before stream. Congratulations on the Nat 20. Oops, that is awesome. That sounds like it was incredibly satisfying as well. And in your party's defense, they should have asked nicely before they took the swords out. That's all I'm saying. In terms of D&D, I've not got anything exciting to share. In terms of Baldur's Gate, I've been obsessed with Jaheira and Minsc. Because I haven't played Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, so I didn't know their characters at all before going into Baldur's Gate 3. And my first time around, I missed him. First time around, Jaheira died at Moonrise, through no fault of my own. And I didn't realise until I'd put a lot of progress in and didn't want to undo it. So I left it. And because of that, I couldn't recruit Minsc, so I missed out on Minsc too. This time around, I have both of them, and I am so glad. Jaheira and Minsc have been an absolute delight. Oh, they already attacked us? New dice too. Oh, blessed dice. Polylaris is rude. That's no way to say hello to new people. My immediate reaction to that would have been, what if one of those had hit us? Because high dex characters. Like, I always play high dex characters, so they rarely get hit by missiles. Like, you can't do that. One of them might have hit me. etc., etc. Scummed and told us to stay back at Moonrise. Yes, I did Jaheira's house yesterday for the first time. And I didn't realize it was Jaheira's house. I didn't know it was a thing. Because in my previous playthroughs, it was just a house with some people in. It was just whatever, you know? But obviously, if you have Jaheira and Minsc there, it takes on a whole new thing. I only had Jaheira for the initial conversations. And then I was like, wait a minute, why am I not bringing Minsc here? Went back and got him. It's so much fun. It's simultaneously hilarious and heartbreaking because of some of the things I discovered there. And it's one of those, if you know, you know. Well, I don't know. And not necessarily heartbreaking, but it added a lot of depth to Jaheira's character that I was initially missing. It was also kind of beautiful because it was the first time she called my character Cub, was when we were in her sanctuary. And I melted. I absolutely melted. And when I went to talk to her and she was like, the Cub speaks, me, the human, just melted completely. It's like, oh my god, that's so cute. You didn't have Minsc either? It's worth going back. It's just little bits and pieces here and there, but it's nice. I love Minsc, by the way. I do not see enough love for Minsc online. He's such a good character. He's an absolute bloody delight. And I don't care that he's an idiot. But him and Jaheira have some great like party banter. Him, Jaheira, and Astarion as a combination have had me cackling. Just the absolute clash of personalities between Astarion and Minsc is great. And Jaheira is just wonderful. I cannot get enough of her. I am very upset that we only get them in Act 3, because that does not feel like long enough for me. I understand it, and I understand the story reasons and all that jazz, but I want more. But yeah, I'm basically with my Lyre, who is my, to put it in context, Hoops, Lyre is to me what Siren is to you. She's loosely based on my first ever D&D character, who was a Wood Elf Archer. Lyre is a rogue, assassin rogue, but that evolution is more to do with me as a human than the character itself. Kind of how I've changed. But all of her personality traits and actions and things like that are all very much still what my first D&D character was. And yeah, I've been taking Lyre through Act 3 recently, and it's so hard because I know I'm running out of game, and I don't want it to run out. My first character couldn't stop what happened at last night. Ah, I see. My first character, my first character didn't stop what happened at last light because I basically just ignored the character who triggers it, not to spoil anything for folks who haven't done that section yet. If you know what I mean. Like, I didn't start that conversation. So I didn't trigger that whole sequence. Skipped that fight, basically. And accidentally cheesed my way into getting the stuff at Last Light. The second time round, well, this time round, I skipped it for different reasons. It was a deliberate choice that was in keeping with my character. Rather than me, the human being, being like, I don't see the point in this. I'm not gonna. Because Laia is a Dark Urge character. And again, no spoilers, but if you know what that means for certain characters at Last Light, you'll understand why my character skipped it. Wonder if Siren and Laia are ahead of each other? That'd be interesting. Maybe I can see Laia of encountering Siren before the events of Baldur's Gate 3. Maybe they encounter each other beforehand, and Siren meets pre-Nautiloid Laia. Or maybe they meet after the event of Baldur's Gate 3. Oh no, it's fine, Hoops. I try and avoid spoilers myself because I don't necessarily... Like, I've seen it. I know exactly what happened. Evil Cleric still got your hero. That's cool. I've got... I've got a secondary save for Laia where it's literally just called Laia Makes Bad Choices. And it's... If Laia's... So basically, my current playthrough is basically... Laia's been given a second chance to be who she was meant to be without the Dark Urge. The Laia Makes Bad Choices is basically if the Dark Urge overwhelms her innate nature, I guess. And it's basically, what if the Dark Urge was stronger? What if the Dark Urge was stronger than her true nature? So yeah, it's fun. It's fun playing around with all different aspects of her psychology because it's so natural to inhabit her mind space for me. Because Laia is not me. Laia makes choices that are different to me. Some of them are pretty close, but a lot of the choices and a lot of her actions and a lot of her beliefs and likes and dislikes are different to mine. But at the same time, she's kind of an extension. So it's interesting. Who is older? So that's a tricky question. Because Laia doesn't know exactly how old she is. Laia would be approximately... So me, I think I had Laia put down as 240 something. If I remember correctly, I can't remember the exact age off the top of my head. I want to say 248, and that is for a very specific reason. But Laia herself doesn't know. Not exactly, because she's got gaps. Oh yeah, I heard Banshee managed to do some Baldur's Gate, but I haven't actually seen any of it. What happened, Didney? Please tell me. Laia's way older. Laia's Siren's a baby. Yeah, but that's the thing. Laia's got the memory loss, but she's been around. Like when she gets all of her memories back, or if she ever gets all of her memories back, she'd remember growing up in in and around Cloakwood. She grew, like, her childhood was Cloakwood. And then events happen that call her to Baldur's Gate she gets called to Baldur's Gate during the first Barspawn crisis, which then causes things to happen. And again, I can't really go into too much detail because it kind of ruins a lot of the backstory for Dark Urge, which I don't want to do for people because that is phenomenally good. Like, seriously, do not look up Dark Urge runs until you've done your own, if you ever intend to do your own, because it's so freaking good. Sounds like, yeah, I think Laia and Bits would have a lot of crossover. But yeah. So anyway, I hate it enough to just attack Korga. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, but a couple of tieflings are gone. Please tell me Dammon survived that. Dammon's such a good character. And I'm not just saying that because I wish that there was an option to have Dammon and Karlach have a happily ever after. In my head, those two end up having a happily ever after. Liar and Bits me memory loss. Yes. Yeah. No, I have a lot of writing for Laia, which, again, if you've seen my AO3 account, you'll see that. I also have about 15 or 16 different pieces queued up that are basically just waiting for final edits. Just for Laia. Because, yeah, exploring her character has been a ton of fun. And this is a character that, in some way or form, has been with me since I was 10 years old. And I've finally been able to breathe true and proper life into her through Baldur's Gate and through writing, which is truly a gift. And I don't say that lightly. It is genuinely a privilege and genuinely making my inner child incredibly happy. Not sure what two tiefling. What is it with orc monks? Jeez. Sorry. Someone else that I've been watching playing through, who also, funnily enough, has a half orc monk, also did a very similar thing. And I'm just starting to wonder if it's just the mentality of people who play orc monks. But yeah, my Gloomstalker will return as well, by the way, folks. I haven't forgotten about them. I know we're at a pretty big point in the story as well. Yeah, we're right at the start of Act 2. So this is when shit gets real. I kind of already know the route I'm going to go with her. So, yeah, the Gloomstalker will return. I now have a good idea of how I'm going to spec the character, which is always helpful. I have a backstory, but this is silly. But the only reason I haven't put the backstory up for folks to read is that I'm having an issue of grammar. In that my stream playthrough, the character's non-binary. However, the writing doesn't flow as well with the non-binary pronouns. in. Or I'm trying to make the non-binary pronouns fit the writing without resorting to something really clumsy like a disclaimer at the beginning to avoid the confusion. So it's mainly a grammatical problem that's holding that up. And that's a fault on me as a writer, because I am not practiced. I am still very much kind of a novice writer. So I'm just kind of trying to figure that out. Should be relatively easy. But yeah, that'll be up soon. And it's just a bit, basically a bit from before she, or they, because she uses both, which doesn't help. Yeah, it's before my character got on the Nautiloid. It's kind of just a peek into their life before then. But also my brain has just been occupied by Lyra recently. But going back to what you were saying a little bit ago, Hoops, I would love to get art of Lyra and Siren. I would love to get art of Lyra in general, to be honest. Baldur's Gate 3 has just helped define her in a way that I could never quite do on my own. And yeah, she's going to be intrinsically wrapped in this world. It's the first world that really brought her to life. And just some key features of her character are linked forever to this world. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I feel like she would want to take Siren under her wing a bit. She'd probably see a lot of herself in Siren and just kind of want to take her under her wing. At least post Baldur's Gate 3. Pre Baldur's Gate 3, maybe not so much, but. Someone shouts, we're fighting an undead Aldo Alva that was a Mother Quinn. Oh my god. That sounds so cool. That sounds so cool, and also, oh my god, my heart. Cherry having a baby Alpa. Hey, Magic! Good to see you. I hope you're well. I am doing well, thank you. It is good to see you. It's been a while. I hope you're having a good time. Leaning back on a bar chair, feet up on the table. Yep, that sounds like Lyra. Balancing a dagger on her fingers. Yes, that sounds like Lyra, for sure. That's Lyra if you didn't know her very well. Or if you just pissed her off. Deadly and also entrancing, yes. Yeah, I can absolutely picture that, Hoops. Very clearly. I think I described Lyra in one of my pieces as, to most of the world, a smiling dagger. but undercutting all of that, there is a softer side that very few people ever get to see. And that's kind of how I've always pictured her. Just very flippant, very, very dangerous, very deadly, but an absolute smart ass. And would 100% terrify and play with people who'd crossed her. Is only really kept in check by people she cares about. Which is kind of a big problem. She doesn't do too well on her own. I've got a character sheet. Hoops. I'll get some good screenshots of her in game. As well, because that's going to be better than anything I can come up with in terms of art for her. Nosgoth and Garrick in the background. Yes. I love my Lyra. I love her so much. Playing Arc Ascended. Oh, there's a couple of people I know who've been playing that. How are you finding it, Magic? I do want to get Arc Ascended. There's two reasons why I haven't. One, that requires money that I don't currently have. Well, I don't currently have available. And two, basically still on the Baldur's Gate thing. My free time has been Baldur's Gate related. So I've not got to it yet. But I plan to. But yeah, personality-wise, Lyra is very much a the laughing assassin kind of thing. It's a bit of a trope, I know, but one that I've always been fascinated by. The events of Baldur's Gate 3 kind of tame her from what she was. But in a good way. She doesn't lose that essential part of herself that is designed to do one thing very, very well. But it's tempered with, you know, a softer side. And she learns how to be a bit more than just a dagger and in the dark. Much more polished than the board. Oh, that's good. How would Lyra react to a Gnomon dwarf having a drinking contest? She'd probably take bets. She'd be looking at it and sort of looking at the pair and going, She would either start taking bets or she'd see if she could slip poison into one of the tankards, depending on how much those characters irritated her. Because, again, this depends on... Because before Baldur's Gate 3 and after Baldur's Gate 3, Lyra's personality changes quite drastically. Before Baldur's Gate 3, Lyra is very much more sadistic and manipulative and I'm going to kill these people just because I can kind of reactions. Post Baldur's Gate 3, those, I'm not going to say urges, but it is an urge. Basically, that side of her has been tempered a lot more with realizing that there is an intrinsic value to people that she's never been able to appreciate before because no one bothered to show her. And she doesn't remember the teachings of where she grew up. So she doesn't remember the teachings of the Wood Elves in Cloakwood. She doesn't remember the semi-druidic roots of where she grew up, because her memory's in pieces, her mind is in pieces, and even after Baldur's Gate 3, she's still trying to put that together. But the companions teach her that, sometimes a patient hand is better than a dagger. And they find out she's actually incredibly persuasive when she wants to be. For an assassin rogue, my Lyra is incredibly charismatic. Characters are loud and energetic drunks. Before Baldur's Gate 3, because this is the more entertaining answer, she would have 100% tried to put something in the drinks. Either poisonous or sleep potion linked, depending on her mood that day. Or she would have tried to slip them silk root. Because silk root is basically ecstasy in D&D. And again, she is terrible. Lyra before Baldur's Gate 3 is an awful, awful person. Because she is the epitome of hurt people. She's very damaged and very, very volatile. It just sounds like her maturity would help center Lyra. Yeah. Lyra is it's funny because and I can say this with the benefit of nearly 700 hours in Baldur's Gate 3. It's funny because Lyra and Astarion are like that disaster couple who have all the same problems and are kind of a mirror to each other. Lyra does not follow any god. Lyra spits in the face of gods. And that is something that she carries through. Lyra is very much, the gods never helped me. And if the gods, I prayed to all the gods and none of them answered. That is Lyra's stance on gods. Before Baldur's Gate 3, Lyra would have absolutely hated that. After Baldur's Gate 3, she kind of comes to see more of the value of putting your faith in something more than yourself, but she still absolutely, for herself, she would never ever follow a god. Lyra could never after so much happens to her, Lyra could never bend the knee. And for that, she will never follow a god. And Lyra would never work for a god. She would never put herself in a position to stand anything other than eye to eye with a god. Bring Simon of the Fear. I feel like Lyra would not have the space for that until after Baldur's Gate 3. That's the thing. Like, before Baldur's Gate 3, Lyra is a very, very different, very unpleasant character. She is the bad victim. She is the one who, goes, well, I've been hurt. The world has hurt me. The world has done me wrong. So I'm going to make it suffer. It's a trope. It's a cliche for a reason, and it's one that I really embrace and really see in her. After Baldur's Gate 3, where she's kind of learned and grown a little bit, that's where she would have more of the space to kind of acknowledge opinions outside of her own. Because before Baldur's Gate 3, no one bothered to see Lyra as anything other than a dagger. Anything other than a tool. She would probably be extremely wary of anyone who is perceptive. Like, even after Baldur's Gate 3, but especially beforehand, before meeting the companions, Lyra would be very, very against anyone seeing anything other than the surface of her. And the surface of her is the smiling assassin. She is dangerous and charismatic and beautiful, and she uses all of that as a weapon. And the only thing that really interests her in the creativity of death. But in the quiet spaces between, she's aware that she is lacking something. But there's always the next kill. There's always someone who needs to die. So she never really gets the space to poke that void too long. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. That's Lyra before Baldur's Gate 3. Would Siren have ever hunted Lyra? Possibly. If Siren became aware of Lyra before Baldur's Gate 3, I think Siren probably would have hunted Lyra. Who would win is a very interesting question. Battle of the Assassins. Siren without bits versus Siren with bits is like an anime power-up. I can imagine a really interesting scenario where it's just Siren and Lyra, and then Baldur's Gate happens, and obviously Siren has bits, and then it's Lyra and Astarion with Siren and bits. It's a good thing I didn't pick. So this is kind of Lyra is a character who I've had for many, many years. Lyra is my first D&D character, and then I took her into Baldur's Gate 3, because why wouldn't I? And from Baldur's Gate 3, this whole backstory has kind of emerged for her. That kind of ties into the lore of it, kind of plays a little bit loose with it. Lyra would certainly be interested in Siren. I think she would be more open to Siren after Baldur's Gate 3. Before Baldur's Gate 3, she'd see Siren as competition. But yeah, context for anyone who's listening. Lyra is my main Baldur's Gate 3 character. Not the one I play on stream. My personal Baldur's Gate 3 character. My personal D&D character. Siren is... Who's original characters. We're talking original characters and kind of riffing. So none of this is official lore. Lyra is not a real character in Baldur's Gate 3, except to me. But her backstory ties in quite closely with events in the game. Because, stories are fluid and adaptable, and it was the missing piece to her story that I didn't realise I needed. So there. There it is. But no, if you like D&D, play Baldur's Gate 3. And apologies to anyone who's kind of getting a bit bored or a bit confused. If you've got questions, feel free to ask. I can talk about my Lyra all day. Astarion... So this is the interesting thing. Both Astarion and Lyra have matching skill sets. So they're both assassin mercs in my playthrough. And that's deliberate choice. Because I wanted Astarion to be that mirror. I wanted Astarion to kind of make Lyra go, huh, okay. This is someone who can keep up with me skill-wise. Fair enough. But what is he doing? Like, I wanted Astarion's actions to start making Lyra think, and to start making her realize that the way she was thinking before was maybe flawed. So that's why I've got Astarion built that way. And to be honest, Assassin Rogue is just fun. And Lyra is just a straight Assassin Rogue. I feel like after Baldur's Gate 3, she would have maybe started looking at druidic stuff. Being a wood elf, she's probably drawn to nature. So maybe she's got a level or two in either druid or ranger. I feel like maybe more Gloomstalker Ranger, because that would fit her skill set more. But that is very much a after the dust has settled kind of situation, where she's actually starting to learn more about herself rather than, you know, early on. But she is very much assassin build. Hey Sippy, welcome in. I love your emotes, by the way. I don't know if I've said it before, but I really love your emotes. Pre-BG3 Lyra. I'd have to roll her up to 20. At the moment, I've only really got her built to 12. But yeah, she's got if I remember correctly, she's got lucky, she's got tough. I can't remember what else I put with her off the top of my head. Little bird tried to stab a dragon. Yeah. And depending on which one of them it is. Lyra is absolutely the kind of one to go, yeah, and what of it? Yeah, pre-Baldur's Gate 3, Lyra was full on with the poisons, the every tiny little thing to give her an edge in the fight. She was not above dirty tricks and dishonorable action, to put it politely. Can you tell I've been working on pre-Baldur's Gate 3 fiction for her? I'm still kind of fleshing out some aspects of her character there. And it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun writing evil. Do a stream show the character? I might do another Lyra run, just so that you all get to meet her. Because one of the things is when I do my Dark Urge run on stream, I'm not going to be playing Lyra first off. But I will be doing the first Dark Urge run I do will be fully embracing the Dark Urge, because that is a timeline I've not explored. Lyra is very much Dark Urge redeemed. So her playthrough is kind of different to that. But if there's enough people interested, I'd absolutely love to introduce you. Cannot do that stream without me. I will, if I do it, I'll let you know, Hoobs. But yeah, if you want to get to know Baldur's Gate 3 era Lyra, she's frequently appearing in my fanfics that I'm posting. Yeah, she's my Tav. I've got lots of Tavs, but Lyra is the one that is my Tav. Don't. Oh. Dolmayar would end up eviscerated. Lyra, particularly pre-Baldur's Gate Lyra. Pre-Baldur's Gate Lyra is the more fun one to talk about, because post-Baldur's Gate she's kind of very different. She changes a lot over the course of the events of Baldur's Gate 3. Which has been such a gift, honestly. It's been so much fun. Having this character who's been in my head for so long finally kind of grow up, I guess. But pre-Baldur's Gate, if you touched Lyra's things, or something that she thought belonged to her, she was absolutely the fly into a violent rage and would hunt you to the ends of Faerun and back just to make a point. Like, for all of her cunning and her charm and her beauty, she had a reckless, still does, that's something she will never shake. She has a reckless hair trigger temper that is violent and implacable, and has frequently ended up causing more trouble than it's solved, but is not something she ever intends to really truly address. So maybe I need to put a level in Barbarian. Pre-Baldur's? I don't know. I like to think Baldur's Gate's not part... So it would be pre-Baldur's Gate then. That's the thing. I love Lyra both pre and post. I need to flesh out pre-Baldur's Gate story-wise a bit more. Hey, Hallie. Good to see you. Steals Lyra's weapons, goes invisible, leaving no trace. Ooh, she would not like that. Again, like, specifically, the two things that Lyra is never seen without: twin short swords. Her signature weapons are the twin short swords. Even if Lyra saw someone steal her weapons. See, now my brain is like, okay. My brain is sort of working on the someone stole the one, or technically two, but someone stole Lyra's weapons. You know, the thing that is never further than her fingertips away. And that would not end well. My brain is now trying to play this through, and I need to write this down. I know what I'm doing with the rest of my day after a stream. No, I need to flesh pre-Baldur's Gate Lyra out a bit more, because obviously with Baldur's Gate 3 kind of developing her character a lot more, I now need to kind of work backwards a bit. But yeah, it's cool. I basically need to work it. So I need to work out her backstory, and I need to work out two versions of it, basically. One that follows the canonical events of the Baldur's Gate universe, and one that deviates enough that it can be divorced from that universe if needed. If that makes sense. Basically, if you know the Dark Urge story, again, please don't spoil it in chat, but if you know the Dark Urge story, Lyra's story follows it quite closely. But I will need to work out her backstory if it's divorced from details of the Dark Urge. and specific aligned parts of the Dark Urge. I can't really explain it too well, but because spoilers, but yeah. Human male steals gun invisible roof. Here's a siren chilling. Oh my god. Liar's weapon's getting stolen with driver insane. I think Twitch blocked the link, Hoops, but I think you might have sent her backstory. I'm not sure. I'll go back and look over our messages. But I know you definitely sent me quite a bit of siren stuff. Hallie, I love those crocodiles. You say about story featuring our characters woven in? I haven't. That's the thing. Like, I need an idea. So yeah, I love the idea of weaving stories involving other people's characters, but at the same time, this is a character that is very personal to me. And this is not intended as a slight on anyone else's characters, but I need more than just the character to weave together. So it's not that I'm against the idea, Indy, it's that I would need something more than just the character sheet. If that makes sense. I don't know, with Herbs and his siren, like we've talked back and forth about our characters quite a lot. So I've got a bit more of a sense of who Siren is versus what your characters are, for example, Indy, because I don't really know a lot about who they are. I would approach Siren? Maybe. I'm gonna focus on questions like that. I'll focus pre-Baldur's Gate Siren, because pre-Baldur's Gate Liar, because it's easy to answer. A Liar may or may not. Liar, half of what she did depended on how bored she was that day. It's very much, you know, has it been a quiet day? Has it been longer than an hour since she killed someone? Maybe. Let's see who's around. Let's see who if Siren presented herself as someone who is interesting to fuck with, and that could end in a possibly violent confrontation as well, Liar was all for it. She wants to cause pain. She wants to cause problems and upset because there is something calming to her about chaos. There is something very calming about, well, not calming necessarily, but she feels more confident when everyone else is screaming around her. Which sounds awful. And it's meant to sound awful because Liar before Baldur's Gate 3 is not a good person. Would pre-Baldur's... If someone was calling themselves the voice of death, abso-fucking-lutely. Someone walking around Baldur's Gate calling themselves the voice of death, Liar would be like, I need to meet this person and I need to mess with them. Her wisdom's low. I think Liar's got low wisdom as well, if I remember rightly. She's high charisma. Liar is persuasive. You know, she whispers. She's got the whisper of poison honey, but she is not good. She's not good. And I think that's been one of my flaws as someone who enjoys anti-heroes. I've not really written many genuinely bad people. Lyra's like the assassin version of Siren. Yeah, I see a lot of similarities, which is why it's so fun to be. Lyra is very much fascinated by mirrors. You know, she's fascinated by people who reflect herself back at her. Former bodyguard for a big smuggling operation. I could see Lyra wanting to recruit someone like Garrick. Lyra would probably try and convince Garrick to work for her. She likes picking at people's flaws and manipulating them in that way. So she'd use the fact that he bailed on his position as a hook. You hear Lyra singing and a man's death screams. Oh, now you're giving me ideas, Hoops. You're giving me too many ideas and I've got to paint. You're going to have me writing all day at this rate. Which honestly is fine. But I was planning to play Baldur's Gate. But I think for today, I think my day has suddenly gone into pre-Baldur's Gate Lyra drafting. This was Lucy Siren looking all death ethereal, mounted on her phantom steed. I love that mental image. The Siren looking down at Lyra, looking like a queen of death. And Lyra just sat there in her fucking ragged drow armor. Just looking beaten. No words. No song. Oh, I would not let that go without something. Lyra would not let that go in silence. She is not the kind. She's the kind that has to have a word in edgeways. She cannot keep her fucking mouth shut. And in Baldur's Gate, that's just funny. But that is something that is very much a flaw of hers. She cannot keep her mouth shut. She has not learned the value of silence whatsoever. Except when it comes to sneaking up on people. It's bitterly ironic, but... Lyra Chase? Maybe not Chase. It depends. That guy, depends. If the dead male is, if she, I don't know actually. Would Lyra Chase? She'd try and get the attention of Siren there. She would want the attention. She would want a thread to pull on for the voice of death. If she had that encounter, Lyra would not let that go. And she's got just enough tenacity that she might just chase after it. The thing about Lyra is she's reckless. She gives zero shits on the value of life before Baldur's Gate. Like she doesn't value any kind of life, much less her own. So you present her with an impossible fight, and she just dives straight in. Yeah, she could be on 2 hit points and have an ancient dragon drop on her head. She would just jump right into it. She would jump to the fight. She wouldn't back off. Valakis, on the other hand, spends a lot of time in the mountains. I feel like Valakis would get on with post Baldur's Gate 3 Lyra a lot more. Pre Baldur's Gate 3, she wouldn't have time for him. Post Baldur's Gate 3, I could see Valakis and Lyra being friends. Because that's the kind of life she wants. She wants peace. After all that happens in Baldur's Gate 3, she just wants peace and quiet. Time to get to know herself a bit better. Time to finally hang up her swords. Started something? Lyra's shadow is Bits. I love the mental image of that. Bits hiding in Lyra's shadow, ready to strike. Lyra is very much a solo operator by nature. You think about it, assassins don't really work in pairs. And she'd never met anyone that could quite keep up with her in that way. She never quite met anyone who would keep up with her. Either in their stomach for what she did, or in their just stamina. This is what I mean when I met Astarion in-game as Lyra. It was a very startling moment of like, oh, hey, so these characters are a lot more alike. And with that sort of more murderous impulse kind of tamed to a degree, it gave Lyra the space to see people in a different light. To just simply targets. And thus, a ridiculous amount of Lyra and Astarion moments were born. You miss painting? Or I hope you find time to relax soon, Magic. Do you have any models that you're waiting to work on? You may be able to run from the songs of death, but the shadow of death is long. Run, little soul. I feel like Lyra would take that as a challenge. Lyra would take that as a challenge. Let me feel your fear. Lyra would tell him to starve. Lyra would just be like, you feed on my fear? Well, feel free to starve. Because she doesn't fear death. Lyra does not give a shit about her own life. She doesn't fear death. She just wants to deal it. She doesn't fear God. She doesn't fear death. The gods never answered her prayers, so why the hells would they care what she did in this life? What right did they have to judge her for how she dealt with what they gave to her? She blames the gods for the compulsion to kill. Lyra and Bess would be fuck buddies. I'm not sure about that. Lyra keeps her heart very closely guarded. Lyra, before Baldur's Gate 3, just inflicted pain. She didn't have time for relationships in that sense. She just wanted to hurt people like she'd been hurt her whole life. Lyra felt discarded by the world, so she discarded the world right back. You know, it's that old chestnut. The world turned its back on her. The gods never replied. Everywhere she turned, she just saw pain. And instead of... And you know, when you look down that sort of road, there's quite often two paths that you can take. You can take the path where it moves you to compassion and it moves you to want to do better. In Lyra's case, she takes the darker path of she sees only pain, she sees only misery, she sees cruelty, and she becomes it. Because if the world is truly like that, if there's no good in the world, then what is the point of being good? And that's kind of at the core of Lyra's character. I feel like pre-bits Siren and pre-bits Lyra have a huge amount of crossover. Whereas I think I don't know how Lyra would react to bits. Because one of the things about and honestly it's pre-Astarion Lyra as well. One of the things about pre-Baldur's Gate Lyra is that she runs. She's running from her problems. She knows, deep down, she really knows what's wrong with her. She knows that she is not right. She knows she is evil. But she is not poking that. She's not... She's running from anything that would kind of force her to take a good long look at herself. And I feel like bits would possibly be something that would make her run away. Because bits would be a little bit too close to the truth. She might hunt him more for being too close to the truth. He's a little bit too close to home. And I think she's perceptive enough that she would see enough of herself in him that it would make her uncomfortable. And again, pre Baldur's Gate 3, the way Lyra deals with anything she doesn't like is to kill it. She doesn't like it, it dies. As creatively and as spectacularly or as efficiently as she feels like on the day. Because let's face it, wouldn't we all like to deal with our problems as simply as just making them go away like that? Oh look, that guy was a dick to me. Poof. Now he's gone. No longer a dick. There is a lot of wish fulfillment in Lyra. For me. Lyra is someone who has never felt the burden of being a good person until Baldur's Gate 3. She has never felt the burden of taking the moral path. Could be a good That would be a really good hook. She just encounters Bits by chance. They get to talking, and suddenly Lyra doesn't feel too good. Suddenly Lyra is hackles up and Apparently there's someone at the door. That's not my problem right now. Sorry, Posty, I'm working. I can very much picture Lyra tracking Bits after meeting him by chance. And then Siren finding Lyra, you know, mid-murder kind of thing. Mid-attempt, I should say. Because I don't think Lyra would necessarily do too well against Bits. That's the thing, for all of her borderline suicidal recklessness, Lyra knows her skill set is in, you know, ambush and surprise, and if someone was prepared for that, she would. She's not a bad fighter by any stretch of the imagination, but in a straight fight, in a fair fight, she's not strong. She's dexterous, but she's not strong. Yeah, character sheet wise, her strength is 10. It's average at best. You grapple her, it's a very good chance she won't be able to get out unless she can stab you. I can absolutely picture Siren just emerging behind Lyra trying to kill Bits. And just... I've got such a strong image now of just, like, maybe Lyra caught Bits by surprise. And she has him on the ground. And she's moving in, and Siren just coming in at the end of the alley. What do you think you're doing? And just that whole tableau of, you know, Siren coming in, and then suddenly Bits is standing up, and Lyra is just sat there in an oh shit situation, because of course she went charging on ahead without telling anyone where she was going, and all of her, you know, her network, they're just off doing what they do, and why would they really care? Because Lyra is just one of the many. They respect her for her prowess at killing. They don't care for her as a person. And losing her would not bring any sort of structure down. No one would mourn pre-Baldur's Gate Lyra. Maybe one or two, actually. Maybe she had a friend, but not the kind of friend who would back her up in a fight. The kind of friend who would share a drink and then fuck you off at the end of the night. Siren has strength 11. Hey, strength 11 is just enough to get the edge in a grapple. Little bird has fallen from the nest. I like that line. See, what I privately have always imagined Laia for Laia is that was never her original name. But it was one of her earliest memories of someone shouting Laia at her. Or someone shouting, and for the longest time she thought it was her name. So that's why she calls herself Laia. But privately, in reality, she wasn't called that at all. She had a different name. But she never had a good reason to suspect that she was anything other than Laia. One of her earliest memories is just someone screaming Laia, Laia, Laia at her. Story working together is dangerous. Would Laia ever fuck Siren? Interesting question. The answer is not necessarily no. Maybe. Definitely maybe. It would depend on the scenario. Oh, Laia's pan. Laia is not a sexuality thing for her. I don't know. Siren has that sort of that almost emotional maturity that Laia lacks before Baldur's Gate 3. In that Laia will persuade, cajole, and kind of she will use words to get round people's defenses, but she doesn't seduce. Her words she seduces in the sense of preying on the information she can pull out of you to manipulate you back, but she doesn't seduce in the sexual way, if that makes sense. She seduces with power and with influence rather than sexuality. And that's not to say that it's because Laia is ugly or anything. It's that she doesn't see the value of relationships. She doesn't see the value of human or interpersonal connection. I say human connection, but it's obviously Laia being a wood elf, that doesn't really apply. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. It's supposed to sound, I recognize that it is. I remember you telling me about the phobia. That's a really interesting mechanic. Laia is more violently reactive to manipulation. If she senses someone is manipulating her, she hates being lied to. Hence, in encountering someone like, say, when you learn who the Emperor is in Baldur's Gate 3, again, not spoiling who or what or context of that, but when you learn the nature of the Emperor, Laia's reaction is violent and instant. No talking around it. No, it's pure I will end you kind of thing. Thank you for the pasta check, Indy. I hope everyone is sitting comfortably. I hope everyone remembers to stretch, relax the shoulders, unclench your jaw, step away from the screen, and I hope you have a tasty beverage so that you can hydrate like Bad Magic has just reminded us to do. I'm currently still drinking energy drinks because I'm tired. I am a sleepy bean. Despite what my story riffing might have you suggest. How you... Oh, okay. Her father's faithful of Moonweaver, so when Siren meets the goddess. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I was going to ask about that, Hibs, but that makes sense. No, honestly, Alaya before Baldur's Gate 3 is so emotionally stunted, I don't think she's even really considered seduction. In that sense. She spent the better part of 2 centuries basically just being used as a tool for destruction. It's hard for her to see anything outside of that. Does blackcurrant potato water count? I mean, it's technically not hydrating, but if it's tasty, that does count. I do know who the Moonweaver is, yes, Hoops. I haven't gotten to the, I feel like with Laia, I like the idea of her being abandoned by the gods. Like, the gods see her and they just go, this one's hopeless. Yeah, this one, have even the gods see you as beyond redemption. I like that idea. I don't know how realistic it is, but I like the idea of it. Drink the paint water. I have done that on an embarrassingly high number of occasions, Oops. I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. Don't think the gods would ever think that. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm inclined to, from what I remember, my memory of all of the gods is kind of shaky because there's so many. But from what I remember, I'm inclined to think you're right. But I feel I like the idea. I definitely think Laia would believe that the Godseer is irredeemable. Wait. A 150 Alpha Carno spawned on the beach. That is an unlucky spawn, Chaya. I feel like Laia would probably piss off the gods just to get a reaction. She sees herself as abandoned by everyone. I can see, like, one of the things that I wanted to write for her was basically trying to piss off a god just to get a reaction out of them. That sort of, fuck you never paid attention to my pain. How dare you presume to rule over us? Yeah, aren't you meant to protect us, kind of thing. Yeah, it's very kind of Pike-esque. Are you a child? Are you that petty? Yes. Yes, she is. She may be 240 odd years old, but emotionally, she's not that mature. And at the core of her, she's just very tired. She's a very damaged person. My poor liar. She's very, very damaged. And she's been shaped by very callous hands. Which is why I love the story of Baldur's Gate for her. Because it gives her a chance to hit that reset button and actually learn a new way of thinking. A new way of seeing the world. Which honestly kind of mirrors my own feelings towards the game. So, which is kind of why I love it so much. It's very... Her movement through Baldur's Gate 3 and those events is very similar to my own. That's where me and Laia cross over very strongly. Okay. Are you a child? Are you that petty? Youngest sister. Definitely sister from another family. Yeah, they are. Again, pre Baldur's Gate 3, Laia would have a very negative reaction to Siren because Siren is too alike. Laia would see it. Like I said, Laia is perceptive to other people and she knows what she's like deep down. And she wants to smash anything that kind of shows that void in her. She doesn't want to think. Laia doesn't want to think. Laia doesn't want to see herself. I feel like Siren had enough people who cared about her to contrast with Laia. Yeah, I think, funnily enough, I feel like if Laia saw Siren flip, it would make Laia like her more pre-Baldur's Gate 3. Post-Baldur's Gate 3, she would understand and be a lot more compassionate. But pre-Baldur's Gate 3, if Laia saw Siren flip, Laia would be like, I could use this. And she would then start trying to work out that switch. So she could flip the switch and then point it at people. She would instantly start seeing Siren as a weapon. Because that's all anyone ever saw her as. And that's the extent to which Laia really sees people. Sarah go insta-kill. Yeah, but that's where Laia's not necessarily smart. But she's manipulative. Yeah, it's a really interesting line to tread because she can be clumsy with that sort of thing. But Laia would want to utilize it. Laia would want to manipulate Siren into being a tool of some description. If she saw that. Yeah, that's why I think they would be really interesting. Which wins? Probably depends on the situation, right? Assassination or Arcane? Who's got a better, stronger DCs, right? I guess that's when you start digging into the psychology, right? Because that's the thing. I maxed out Laia's persuasion specifically. She's not as good at deception, but Laia is very persuasive. Very, very persuasive. I'm guessing you did the same thing. Lyra will tell you as much of the truth as you need to hear to get you to agree to what she sees. And not a bit more. And then she'll start quoting in lies if she thinks the truth wouldn't work. I feel like Lyra would pre-Baldur's Gate, Lyra would use Garrick. Chase will start. Oh, that'd be funny. Here's. That would be funny. No, Lyra doesn't see herself as much worth time. Yeah, when you spend. This is the thing. Lyra grew up a wood elf, like your typical, very unremarkable wood elf upbringing. She wouldn't have reached maturity until she was about 100. I reckon she left her Cloakwood home very young for an elf. So she would have been a teenager, basically, when she left home. And I've not really worked out why she would have left. But when she got to Baldur's Gate, she fell in with a bad crowd. And they just used her. They used her natural stealth. And over time, just being exposed to that at such a young age, it seeped into her. And, you know, maybe she had one too many fights go wrong, and then her memory started to fracture, and her personality started to fracture under the pressure of it all. You know, and she was not cut out for it when they started, but the soft parts of her were carved out and buried, and she just hardened into this what Siren would meet, of just this bitter person who's just been used and is tired. Look, Bits, it's you. I love Siren and Bits as my mechanic. I think Lyra would be jealous of Siren for having Bits. Because until, you know, meeting the companions in Baldur's Gate 3, Lyra would not have had that. She would have spent a lot of time on her own. She might have had drinking partners, or, you know, people who help her infiltrate, but she never had a positive influence on her life that she could remember, anyway. Maybe a childhood friend, but they're so far in her past that they may as well not have existed. Long process. Comes his conscience. That's sweet. Lyra never had that. Not until a certain pale-haired elf knocked her on the floor and pointed out some unpleasant facts about herself that she never really quite wanted to hear. And I'm just gonna say, I have that tattoo now.
That's on the other wrist. That says more than a survivor.
If you know Astarian's story, there is a reason that he effectively becomes the like Astarian's story hits such a chord with me. I get it. Like, I've inhabited that skin. And it, for the first time in 10 years, I got catharsis for my own experience. And I cannot tell you how good that feels. So there's a reason it's Astarian and Laia. And he's the only one. There's a reason that that character gets through her shell. Because at the same time, he got through mine. And it was the same thing that, like, I gave Laia the same reactions to him that I have. Of absolutely despising him at first. And then slowly, slowly over time, it changes. Yeah, it's like taming a feral cat. That's actually a really good analogy for Laia. She's like the feral cat. You need to be patient with her, and you need to take your time, and eventually she'll trust you. But Laia is Dark Urge. Like, canonically, Laia has the Dark Urge. In the true sense of who she is. Hence why I need to work out a backstory for her that doesn't involve the specifics of Dark Urge. Because that takes a little bit more figuring out. Because I had the idea for something similar to the Dark Urge for Laia before I played Baldur's Gate. Where it was just a generic compulsion without any specifics attached to it. Yeah, I feel like Laia's got a lot of crossover with both of your characters. I think the problem with her is that she never let her guard down. Laia never let her guard down, and no matter how casual the encounter, she'd never want to be that, like, vulnerable in a way. And it's not that she was all murder, it's that she just didn't see the value in it. She's got that coldness that you see in, like, Minthara, for example. And it's not that she lacks the capacity for it. It's just that she doesn't see the value in genuine connection. And she doesn't really have time for it. She doesn't have time for the aspects of the amnesia killing. Yeah, Laia's more of a compulsion than an amnesia of such. She's been shaped by her experiences into only seeing the world as a sea of targets. Like, she's depersonalized the world. Because that's what her experiences have brought her. What made Laia like this? Cruelty. In a nutshell, cruelty. But, like, the nuance of it is not written yet, but the general gist is that it's kind of what I was saying before. When you see the worst of people, when you only ever really see the darkness in people, when that's all you're exposed to, you go one of two ways. You go into the I need to make the world better, or you go into the, well, what's the point in being better if all the world is shit? And Laia went the way of the world is shit, so why should I be any better? You know, people are cruel, I need to be crueler so that they stop being cruel to me. That kind of mentality. The exact circumstances of what made her exactly the way she is, or was, I'm not ironed out yet. But yeah, the TLDR is she saw too much shit, and instead of making her stronger, it made her weaker. It made her cut off the parts that reach out for connection and reach out for comfort and help, and all those parts that kind of make us vulnerable and human. Laia rejected to make herself harder to touch. She cut herself off from the world to protect herself from the cruelty, but she's not emotionally mature enough to really understand why she's doing what she's doing. Because trauma. And I say that lightheartedly, but it's something that I understand too much. I understand from a personal level. Because, yay, therapy. But, yeah. I appreciate the offer, Herbs. I'm still, like, very much figuring pre-Baldur's Gate Laia. Fine-tuning, I think, pre-Baldur's Gate Laia. Because Baldur's Gate 3 allowed me to refine her in a way that I'd not really been given the space to do before. Much like, because she's based on my first D&D character. When I was playing her there, it was more very young. Very, very young. Before she became hardened by the world. It was her earliest life. The teenage Laia, basically. And she's, again, a very different person then. She was very innocent, almost naive. Very stoic, but sweet. So glad to see. Hey, Ozzy, welcome in. Good to see you. Ozzy, I've not streamed for nearly 2 weeks. You haven't missed much. I've just been talking shit about my character with Hooves. Oh no, Hooves. I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that to Laia. Laia would kill anyone she discovered using command on her without hesitation. And if she couldn't kill them right away, she would hunt them. I can't even joke about that, if I'm honest. Like, that would be the end. Anyone found using anything like charm, command, dominate person, even hold person, Laia would kill them. And she would dedicate everything she had into killing them until she had succeeded. You know, it would be one of those, you cannot dissuade me from this. Kind of situations. I'll tell you a bit of a lighter hearted fact about Laia though. She
she's a real snob when it comes to alcohol. And one of the ways that she can nearly always be found is because she's bickering with the bartender about the quality of their whiskey. Or whatever alcohol she happens to be drinking that night.
2 hours is a street. Have we been going 2 hours already? Oops. It's fine. On Laia specifically, like, that's the thing. Laia doesn't have attachment enough to anyone to care if anyone else is being used. Laia doesn't use non-magical manipulation, but she's violently opposed to anyone messing with her mind. Talking about BG3 characters, so Laia is my I guess an OC. She is my Baldur's Gate 3 character, but she was based on my first D&D character, and is a character that's kind of lived in my head since I was about 10. So she's the character that I've written into my Baldur's Gate fanfics, because she's kind of like my Tav. Yeah, if I had to pick one character to be like my true playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, Laia is the character who's done it. If that makes sense. But she's also, there's a lot more to her than that. Baldur's Gate 3 just kind of let her become more refined in my head than a loose collection of ideas. She's kind of coalesced into a full character now. Whiskey's gross anyway. Oh, she is... Before the events of Baldur's Gate 3, Laia is just not good. She's a broken, messy person who seriously needs some therapy. She needs therapy, and she needs a friend, is what she needs. And it's funny because Laia is almost... Laia is the definition of what happens when cruelty breaks you. When you let people who... Laia is what happens when you let the bad guys win, you know? When you let the people who hurt you win. Someone like Laia happens. Laia gave up on herself because she had no one to tell her to keep fighting. That's why I love Baldur's Gate 3 for her. Because, one, it took her memories away. So she didn't have that the world is cruel thing going in her head anymore. But also, she had people like Karlach and Shadowheart and Gale who all influenced her to kind of see herself as more than just a tool to be used. And again, I love that for her. I'm very proud of her growth over the course of Baldur's Gate 3. Speaking of Baldur's Gate 3, Ozzy, how's your paladin going? I know you were stuck in a little bit of a dilemma. I want to give Laia a hug. She's not a good person. Before Baldur's Gate 3, she is not a good person.
after Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know. She tries. She deserves credit for the attempt. She's still learning. And, you know, a certain mischievous pale-haired elf does not necessarily help her to always make the good choice. But they're both learning. And that's why I love Astarion for her. He doesn't judge her. And he sees her in both the flawed sense and the more idealistic sense of someone who wants to see a loved one succeed. And again, this is very stupid, bullshitty, headcanon-y, fanfiction-y kind of stuff now, but yeah. That's what I see for her. As someone who is amoral enough to accept her bad choices, but who cares about her enough to, you know, encourage her to do good. And you know what? She needed motive to be better. She needed someone to make her want to be better. So what I do is post. Who look like sisters too. I don't know. Lia's kind of she's got very classic wood elf features, you know. She's got the reddish brown hair, the bright green eyes with the red iris, the red ring around the pupil. It's kind of the only hint that she's not quite right. She's got a ring of scarlet around her eye. She's got a scar in her chin and a vertical scar across her eye, which has Baldur's Gate 3 spoiler reason. And a rose tattoo on her neck, which I myself will probably end up getting, if I'm honest. That's like, she's not remarkable in that sense. She's an elf, so she's pretty anyway. Even if she doesn't really know it. Reddish brown? Are we going to do a Twister? Yeah, go for it. If you know what, actually, because I've got... I may or may not have a screenshot of the Mimic. I'll send you a quick thingy for you, Hoobs. Where's one where you can see her face well? The problem is I'm trying to find one in neutral light, which is not as easy as you'd imagine. I like dramatic lighting even, and lightning, but yeah, her hair's kind of like very red brown, almost looks scarlet in direct sunlight. Hang on, Hoops. There we go. There's a screenshot of kind of good light for her. Yeah, I think you might have been thinking of Lise, who is my drow, who had white iridescent hair. Stream Paladin, Sven Redwood. Nice. You want to make a War Cleric? War Cleric looks cool. War Cleric looks very cool. I haven't played much Cleric yet because I may or may not be doing a Shadowheart playthrough at some point. Because her story just... The more I play of Baldur's Gate, the more I'm like, fuck, I want to know more about Shadowheart. The story kind of calls to me a bit. So I might do an Origins playthrough of Shadowheart. Yeah, very Wood Elf. She, that's the thing. I didn't want to make her too elaborate, I guess. I kind of wanted her to be very a face in a crowd. She could be the elf next door until she got scarred, and then you look at her and now you go, ooh, there's a story there. But even so, you know, once you get past that, it's still very much like, no, she could just be any old elf on the streets. I don't know, it appealed to me. You're gonna go War Cleric? Oh, Tempest Cleric, yes. I remember you telling me, Tempest Cleric of Talos, right? I'm playing with an idea for my stream Dark Urge run. I definitely want Sorcerer in there. But I might end up taking some Tempest Cleric levels if I can make that work. I don't know. I'm currently looking at number crunching basically for my stream playthrough of Dark Urge, which will probably start in the new year. Because I had to take a break. All I'm going to say is, in preparation for the Dark Urge run, please don't judge me. I will be making some terrible choices. Shadowheart is lovely, but I love Karlach. That's the thing. The more I went into Baldur's Gate thinking, yep, Karlach's the only romance option for me. The more I get to know Karlach, the more I see her as best friend material. More. I love Karlach to bits. And she's smoking hot, literally, but also, like, personality-wise, and I love her design. But I see her as best friend material now. No worries, oops. I want to romance Halsin, but I always say it's stuck on Karlach. I get it. I have romance Halsin. I think my stream character would also romance Halsin. But I'm also kind of torn because I think my stream character may end up romancing Karlach. Because I think any pursuit of Astarion is a problem between the player and the keyboard rather than the character. So I need to kind of rein that in a bit. But yeah. I don't know yet. I haven't decided on romances for my stream character. I'm leaning towards Karlach because I feel like that's the best one for her. You haven't decided? You're leaning towards Shadowheart. See, honestly, I'm kind of tempted to restart my stream playthrough. As much as I love my little Gloomstalker, and she's adorable, I kind of regret some choices that I've made now. But that would also mean playing through the entirety of Act 1 again. Because we are literally at the gates of Act 2 on my current stream playthrough. . 'Cause 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 '
The original bar got with Will. That's impressive. Will is not easy to romance. At least I struggle romancing Will. But I think that says more about me than anything else. My problem is my personality apparently means that I find it too easy to romance Astarion. Will. The problem with Will, and I say it as nicely as I can, Will is too much of a hero. Will is too much of a hero, and my play style. Oh no, you got an ad? I didn't even get a warning. What the heck? Twitch, you meant to let me pause those. I'll wait a minute or so. This is what I get for not streaming for a couple of weeks. Also 5 seconds. Simple, right? That's the thing, Ozzy. It's not a criticism. It's more telling on myself. In that having played the classic lawful good paladin for a very good number of years, and I use that as a stereotype rather than a specific, but a lot of my characters were very idealistic, very lawful good when I play tabletop regularly. I'm a bit older now, and I'm a bit less innocent, to put it one way. My characters now tend to be very morally grey to very unpleasant. They're almost swinging the entirety the other way. I tend to like the conflicted hero type. So the reluctant, the okay, we'll do the right thing, but we'll do it in the worst possible way kind of types. It's fun to play that. I like complicated characters. So with Will, I like his character. I like what I've seen of his writing. But he doesn't like my characters because my characters are too morally grey, for want of a better phrase. I can't think of a better way of putting it. My characters are too morally grey for Will to really have gel with them. I play rogues, I play oathbreakers, I play the sorcerers, the warlocks that like the power, those kinds of characters. And it's fun to play them. It's fun to inhabit the skin of someone who is like that. Gonna renew some subs. Oh, you don't need to worry about renewing your sub to me. I wish I could do more about ads, but unfortunately, yeah. It is what it is. The ad situation on Twitch is not great. Unfortunately, I might need to change it soon as well, because I want to look at trying to disable pre-rolls for people. That might mean doing longer ad breaks. So I took a quick look at it, and I looked at it as much as I could without actually making changes. I might have to do 90 seconds every half hour to actually be able to disable pre-rolls, because pre-rolls are kind of killing momentum a bit, and it's kind of lethal to the channel. And despite what appearances might have been of late, I do actually still want to make this channel viable. But that's part of a big raft of changes that I'm going to be bringing in over New Year, basically. So there will be other good things coming in to make up for potentially boo-worthy ads. Like I said, I'm still looking into it.
So that's not a confirmed change, but it's something I might have to do.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying about Will, he's great. His character's really interesting. The fact that I have such a strong opinion on his intro of, oh god, not this guy, just shows he's so well acted and so well done, and I have no critiques on Theo's performance of him whatsoever. He's great. And I think Theo is a lovely person as well. I have a very high opinion of him. Will just does not gel with the kind of characters that I play, and that's fine. Which is why it interests me that Karlach does. Like, Karlach quite often will be very enamored with my characters despite their moral failings. And in fact, Will seems to be the only one who really objects to any of my characters, though I have a feeling this new Dark Urge character that I will be playing on stream will definitely cause some strong opinions. I think there are going to be very few characters that do like her or him. I haven't decided yet. Them, I should say. So the Dark Urge that I play on stream might be a little unexpected. Like I said, I'm going to embrace the urge for my stream playthrough. Except there are going to be a couple of instances where I make a choice that is resisting the urge because there will be an opportunity to do something worse later on. So, yeah. I am employing meta knowledge to make a worse choice in this Dark Urge run that I'm going to do on stream. Me as the human is going to suffer. I am going to really suffer through this playthrough because it involves doing things to characters that I love, that I do not want to do. But you'll have that to look forward to. I'm hoping I can finish up my Gloomstalker run before the new year, so then I'll be able to play a lighter character as a contrast, because I think the Dark Urge run on stream might get kind of heavy in places. So my plan is to make up something sweet and light and innocent to counteract it. But yeah, we'll see. That's all to look forward to. That's just take over my life. It already has, Ozzy, for me. I'm a lost cause. I am just shy of 700 hours in this game. There are classes I've not touched. I've not done any Origin runs except for a small amount of Astarion, which I ended up deleting the save for, and Dark Urge. Not touched Origin runs. I've not done any of the short races. Yeah, my first playthrough was 120 something hours. My current playthrough is already kind of hitting that, and I've got most of Act 3 to go still. And when I tell you that there is so much to explore in this game, I am at
a stupidly high number of hours in this game and still finding new things. Still finding new dialogue, new areas, new characters. This is a game that begs to be played again and again and again. But I say this as someone who has been practically a lifelong lover of high fantasy and D&D. So this game is basically hardwired to be addictive to me. This sounds silly. It's gonna sound really silly. It's gonna sound really cliched and dumb. I don't care. Baldur's Gate 3 has rewired my brain. In a way, saved my life. Because without Baldur's Gate 3, I wouldn't have been at the point where I was willing to try again for the job that I've just got. I wouldn't have been at the point where was Baldur's Gate 3 let my love of D&D come to life again. Which I didn't realize how much I missed. I really missed D&D so much. Baldur's Gate 3 let me embrace that love again. And D&D is like a part of my DNA. I've spoken about it before. I've played D&D since I was 10 years old. It is a part of how I see the world. I didn't realize how much I missed it until I played Baldur's Gate, and it gave that back to me. And because of Baldur's Gate, I discovered a lot of content creators. I discovered people like Neil Newbon's community, Jay Britton's community, Amelia Tyler, all those sort of things. Their communities, just listening to them talk about the game with such passion and the writing and just everything around it, it gave me the confidence to go, fuck it, and actually try and change my career and do something that I actually wanted to do. Which is when I got rejected for this job the first time around. And their communities, and I was talking in a couple of the streams about it, and the encouragement I got from those communities made me want to try again. And I got it this time. So indirectly, Baldur's Gate, and I ended up talking about Baldur's Gate in my final interview for this job. So, without Baldur's Gate 3, I would not have this job. Without Baldur's Gate 3, I would probably still be burnt out, miserable in a customer service job that I hated, and slowly burning into a husk. Because that's where I was at before this game came along. And that would have eventually killed me, one way or another. So, never underestimate the power of games. I shouldn't. Well, try it. I might end up with a duplicate code of Baldur's Gate. Some rest tubes. I'm probably going to finish stream shortly anyway. But get some rest. We'll talk writing soon, I promise. My life has been chaotic recently, but it's calming down. And as soon as we can find time, we shall talk stories. And it will give me time to get some good stuff down for Lyra. Because all the questions you've been asking have been helping me kind of refine her anyway. So it'll give me time to get that stuff down on paper. Well, sweet dreams. Thank you so much for keeping company. Yeah. As a side note as well, I may end up with a duplicate code for Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not sure yet. But if I do, then I will let you all know. and I'll probably give away some codes. Because I love this game, if you couldn't tell. Amelia with Paladin Dreams. Do it! I want to hear your backstories. I want to see your tabs. I want to hear your stories. That's the thing. I love stories. I love writing. I've been posting bloody fan fiction, which I never thought I'd have the confidence to do. So if you're writing, if you've got screenshots of your tabs, please put them in the TTRPG channel. I will probably put some screenshots of Lyre up on there so you all can see the person I've been talking about off stream. I'll put a couple up for you all to see. Bottomless pit of ideas. I'd be curious to see what you think of my writing, Hoobs. Just because, yeah. Obviously, I've read yours and turned out fair play. I'll send you the link to my AO3 account if you're interested. Just don't judge me too harshly, I guess. I'm super shy about my writing. I love writing, but I am forcing myself not to hold back from embarrassment, if that makes sense. Like, I have written and have done creative writing for most of my life. I stopped for a while, but Baldur's Gate 3 encouraged me to take it back up again. I've been super shy and anxious about it, if I'm honest. And it weirds me out when people I know read my writing. Weirdly, it's easier for strangers to read it than it is for people who know me. Because I feel like my writing is very revealing. And, there's the embarrassment of, yeah, well, what if you think it's shit? What if you all think that I'm a crap writer? But then I'm forcing myself to not care because I love writing and I love the characters that I write about. So, yeah. If you want to write, just go for it. The easiest way to get better at writing is to keep doing it as well. And that is an almost a direct quote from Tom DeVille, who's written for things like Hannibal, aka one of the best written shows on television. So, take his advice, don't take mine. But when it comes to writing, I'm forcing myself to share it. I'm forcing myself to not... To kind of post and run, basically. Where would be the best place to start writing? Word? A notepad? Yeah, to share it. Just write. I personally ended up starting an AO3 account because most of my writing is kind of fanfics these days. And I'm not really sharing my original pieces. It depends. If you want to just write... I mean, AO3, I think it's Archive of Our Own is the name of the website. That seems to be a good place to share. Even D&D backstories, they you can share D&D backstories, you can share Baldur's Gate 3 original characters. There's a big Baldur's Gate 3 community growing on there. So, yeah. If you just want to, write it in a Word document, though. That's where I do a lot of mine. And then I, upload it when it's done. But you don't need to write for anyone other than yourself. I think that's what a lot of people have lost sight of. of just doing something for its own enjoyment. I know I did for a long time. It's not a judgment on anyone who has. I think we're all a little too focused on doing it for a reason rather than doing it for enjoyment. Yeah. Starting Google Doc. Yeah. Just write. And then the more you read and the more you write and the more you keep doing it, the more you'll start to find your style as well. Everyone has a style of writing. It's going to be wildly different from person to person. But for me, honestly, the best thing was to just start. You don't need a massively dramatic opener. I do a lot of cold opens, which is always kind of fun to me. Just to drop you right in the middle of something. But just start, honestly. And do it for yourself. As long as you're happy with how this story goes. Who cares if it's good? You know? And it doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It doesn't have to be unique or... You can tell a story that's been told 1,000 times, but no one's told it the way you have. Or the way that you will tell it. Because there's only 7 truly unique different stories in the world. Everyone is retelling a variation of one of those stories. But no one will do it the same way that you do it. And I think that was the advice that I wish I'd heard a lot earlier. You're the only one who can tell the story that you're writing. But yeah. I've really gotten into writing recently. I've been doing a narrative design course as well, which has kind of helped refine a lot of my writing for D&D versus writing for enjoyment, which has been another challenge altogether. But yeah, I just write online. I write in Word Online because that's the one I can access anywhere. And I have a silly number of flash fictions now, which has just been really fun. But yeah, this isn't finished, by the way. This is just kind of let's call it a first draft. But I think I'm gonna leave it there for today because my voice is kind of hurting, and it means I can come back tomorrow and do a bit more on it tomorrow, maybe. I'm not gonna promise a stream tomorrow, but I might do regular painting stream time. Just to see if we can finish this guy off. I'll see how I feel. But I am gonna leave it there for today because I'm drained. And funnily enough, I want to go start writing. But yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for today. But thank you all very much for joining me. Thank you for keeping me company. Sorry it took me so long to get back to streaming, but I'm mostly back. It's like I said, it's going to be a little bit floaty between now and the end of the year because it's the end of the year. You know, everything kind of goes tits up then. And I start the new job on Monday. But yeah, hopefully I remember what day of the week it is tomorrow, and I can do some painting then. If I don't, I will see you all next week. But thank you very much for joining me.
Sounds like you love it. I'm keen. It's a dream job, honestly, Shy. And even just getting away from customer service is going to make a world of difference. It's my first ever creative job, so we'll see how that goes. You tried the speed painter stuff. Oh, cool. That's really cool, Shay. I've not tried that yet. I do want to finish this off there, so I will probably try and stream tomorrow, even just for a little while, to get more of this done. And yeah, I'll start 10 a.m. UK time, usual stream paint time. But yeah. Is that contrast paint? I have heard that. I'll need to check it out. But yeah. I need to go. I need to get food. I need to rest. But thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, wherever you're in the world. Keep an eye on Twitter for updates on whether or not I'm streaming tomorrow. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now, folks.